NBA playoffs has begun with a few surprises. Sounds worth talking about. All right, welcome to Basketball Street Beat episode 13. I'm your host, John Behrens.
And I'm Joshua Perkins.
So the NBA playoffs have now begun officially. In some cases, we're 2 games into the series with a few surprises. Josh, let us start with the Orlando Magic.
It kind of came as a surprise. I mean, because Toronto, looking at the Raptors and how well they've done this regular season, honestly, Toronto was my pick to come out of the East. But Kyle Lowry was definitely in his playoff form, into which he does not show up. The Raptors' window, their window is now, because there's no guarantee Kawhi Leonard could be coming back next season. So if they want to make a run for the title, this is their window, and they're not off to a good start.
Now, losing game 1 to the Magic, who haven't been in the playoffs since Dwight Howard took them to the finals in 2012. Was it 2012 or 2011?
I think it was 2011.
Yeah, a while. Because, 2012, I want to say was...
the Heat, right?
It was the Heat, but I'm talking about... Gosh, I can't remember. It's been a while.
It has.
I can't even remember who they lost to.
Talking about the Magic?
Yeah,
they lost to the
the Lakers. It was the Lakers. So we're talking like 2009 or something.
Yeah, this was before LeBron. This was like the season. I think this was LeBron's last season in Cleveland during his first tenure.
His first tenure, yeah.
Right.
So we're talking like 2009.
Long time ago.
Yeah. So the Magic are making their triumphant return to the postseason and do so in some considerable fashion.
By going to one of the favorites of the East and winning on the road in a hostile environment in the Air Canada Center. That's how you start the playoffs off. That's how you start off the playoffs.
Yeah. You think they can go up 2-0?
It's possible.
Oh, it's possible.
It's possible. I mean, it's actually more than likely to happen if Kyle Lowry does not show up in Game 2. If he doesn't show up, Magic will go up 2-0, and the Raptors will be in a tough spot going to Orlando for Games 3 and 4.
Yeah, and another arguable upset, although at the same time, it's, I don't know, they kind of been up and down over the course of the season. It was the Brooklyn Nets beating the Philadelphia 76ers in the opening game.
Nets is another team making that triumphant return to the playoffs. Well, they haven't been to the... Well, yeah.
Dude, they haven't been, like, relevant since 2004.
Since they were in New Jersey. I remember when Jason Kidd first took over the Brooklyn Nets. When they moved to Brooklyn, didn't they go to the playoffs, like, their first year in Brooklyn?
Yeah,
they had Jason Kidd.
They did, but at the same time, they went, 0-4 and out. So
pretty much, but I mean, this is a young and hungry Nets team. I mean, if they play their cards right in the draft and in the free agency, I mean, this can be a team that can be a force to reckon with next season, especially with D'Angelo Russell being the face of that franchise right now for that team. He's the heart and soul of that team on that court. I mean, the Nets, they are very talented. So, I mean, winning Game 1, it was a shocker considering the momentum the Sixers are on this season and how well the Sixers have been playing and how they've been progressing. But at the same time, the playoffs, you can expect anything. Like last night, how the Clippers came back from 31 points down in Oakland, California, inside the Oracle Arena to defeat the Golden State Warriors. Now the series is tied 1-1. Is going to LA for games 3 and 4. Boogie Cousins is down, so the Warriors are in a tough spot. Do you think the Warriors, if you were a Warriors fan right now, would you be worried?
I wouldn't be worried per se. I mean, I don't know. It's on one hand it's the Clippers, but on the other hand it's the Clippers.
I like how you put it. You know, like I wouldn't be too worried because you know it's the Clippers, but on the other hand, it's the Clippers. And the Clippers, they haven't really been able to get over that hump as far as reaching, you know, a significant amount of success, you know, in a postseason. They haven't really been able to really conquer those demons because the Clippers, they've had a history lately of getting past the first round.
Right. Even when they had, you know, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, it's still just like, okay, they're a good team that can't do nothing come postseason.
Exactly. It's kind of like how the Raptors are now. They really can't do anything come postseason. I mean, well, granted, they've been running into LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but now that LeBron's in the West, the Raptors don't have to worry about that. But instead, now you got to worry about the new buzzsaw on the East, and that's Giannis and the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks came out and just pretty dominated that first game.
Yeah, the Bucks, they understand what their window is. If they want to win a title, that it's now. I mean, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo who's riding on so much momentum.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Bucks are just starting, really. I mean, Giannis, you know, the Greek freak, he's just getting going, just starting.
Well, I mean, a lot of people foresaw this last season. The way that the Bucks took the Celtics to the limit last season in the first round, the first round of the playoffs, and
right.
And so, and the way that the Bucks played as a team, and then you know the moves they made this season and how well they've done. I mean, a lot of people foresaw the Bucks being this dominant. So the fact that they're dominating Detroit, you know, it's not a surprise to me.
Yeah, and so what are we thinking about Boston, Indiana?
Well, the only saving grace there is that Victor Oladipo is hurt. I mean, the Celtics are up 1-0.
Yeah, they are up 1-0, which is kind of surprising, but not surprising at the same time. You know, it's surprising because the Pacers are without their star player, but at the same time, Boston has just been inconsistent all season long.
Well, it's kind of like the disaster in with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, you had Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. What does that have to do with the Boston Celtics? Well, there's a similarity. It's the clash of egos. It's a clash of alpha personalities that don't know how to, you know, do what's good for the team. Mm-hmm. So, but like I said, once the Celtics can let go of their egos, that's when the Celtics can emerge as one of the best teams in the league. But until then, the Celtics will never go over that hump, and they'll never win another title if they cannot let go of their egos.
Yeah, and I just find it odd that, or just kind of amusing, really, that the Boston Celtics were actually able to clinch a top 4 seed, but did they really earn it? I mean, they just kind of coasted, and the rest of the teams behind them just kind of were the rest of the teams behind them.
And then with the Celtics, their window to try and win a title is now, because there's no guarantee of Kyrie coming back next season. And so now the Celtics, they're kind of in a tough spot. Now, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to get through Indiana. That's no question. But at the same time, I mean,
I don't expect them to get further than the second round, really.
Oh, definitely not.
All right, Spurs at Denver. Spurs already up 1-0. Try to go for 2-0 in the series tonight.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Spurs eliminate the Nuggets in the first round, to be honest. Yeah, those Nuggets are really good with Nikola Jokic being out there and Jamal Murray. You look at the San Antonio Spurs, you look at their history of all, you know, being in the postseason and, you know, how Pop's teams can perform in the postseason. So it doesn't really surprise me that the Spurs are in this position right now.
Okay, so Rockets pretty much dominated the Jazz in game 1, won by 32 points. Are the Jazz reverting back to their early season form?
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
because I won't forget, when the season first began, the Jazz were like losing by like 30, 40, 50 points a game. It was pretty ridiculous.
I remember it was, but at the same time, you're going against James Deadshot Harden. in the Rockets, they're coming back in this postseason with revenge, and they're looking to be the team to represent the West.
Yeah, I know they want to be the team to represent the West, but at the same time, they didn't play like a team that's going to be able to represent the West.
But the Rockets, they have built up momentum going into the playoffs, so, I am looking for the Rockets to really make a lot of noise in this year's postseason. Because they feel like that they have unfinished business this year because they were one game away from going to the finals last season.
All right, in another Western Division showdown, we actually have the Portland Trailblazers winning a playoff game for the first time in more than 2 years. Having gone 0-4 the past two postseasons.
That's a crying shame. That's just bad.
So really 0-8 the last 2 years in the postseason.
Well, the Blazers got to win. They just got to keep it going, but they got to go against the OKC Thunder.
And were people talking earlier about the Thunder being the team that could challenge the Warriors?
Yeah, I was saying that myself. due to how well Russell Westbrook and Paul George were playing together and having Steven Adams out there controlling the paint. But the supporting cast has to step up.
Yeah. So how do you think the Warriors are going to respond? Because still, giving up a 31-point lead to a team like the Clippers in the postseason in California at home,
then you gotta go to LA for Game 3. So the Warriors, they gotta play their best basketball. Of course, the Clippers, they just have to they gotta stay focused, and they gotta take it one day at a time, and they gotta keep playing their brand of basketball if they want to keep up with the Warriors. Because here's how playing against the Warriors are. It could be the wildest 48 minutes of your life, or it can be the longest, most painful 48 minutes of your life. Because the Warriors, they like to play fast offense. They get the ball up court quick, make the shot, and then next thing you know, it's a constant cycle. They play really fast, and then time kind of slows down on you.
Right.
If I'm making sense.
So a milestone that was eclipsed this postseason was Steph Curry passed up Ray Allen for leader with most 3 points in the postseason.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, he should also pass him up for career 3-pointers next year.
So Steph Curry's probably the best 3-point shooter in the world. So
I would say I'm actually a bit impressed with this feat because you think of how long Ray Allen played versus how long Steph Curry's been in the league, and it's been Allen played something like 21 years, something like that.
Something more close to that.
And Curry's only been in the league 6-7 years.
Oh no, I think I would say 9 or 10.
9 or 10, still half the length of the time that Ray Allen played, and he's already passing him up.
Well, you gotta look at how many times Steph Curry jacks that ball up in the air every game.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But still, that's half the amount of time that it took Ray Allen to set the record. He's breaking it in.
Which, that's astounding.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing Steph Curry, this is no surprise to me neither. So,
and Ray Allen played on a number of playoff teams. The Heat, the Celtics. I think didn't he suit up for the Lakers at one point?
No, he was with the Bucks though.
No, that was Gary Payton. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Gary Payton.
I know that Ray Allen played for the Bucks. He played for the Heat. He played for the Celtics. I think that's it.
Supersonics?
And the Sonics. And the Sonics.
The Supersonics. So he was a member. I want to say of was he a member of the Sonics finals team?
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
I know Gary Payton was. Was it?
I know Gary Payton was. I don't know.
I want to say it was Gary Payton and Ray Allen, but I could be mistaken.
I think it's Gary Payton.
I know somebody paired up with Gary Payton in Seattle.
I'm not sure.
They got destroyed by Jordan and the Bulls, but still.
No, I think it was Gary Payton that was on that team.
Now I'm curious because I know it was Gary Payton and someone else. I just can't think right now. But yeah, it was definitely Gary Payton, and I almost who was on that team. Now I'm just gonna sit here and think about it. We'll look that up. Okay. Okay, it was Gary Payton and Sean Kemp was the other player on that team.
I do remember that Sean Kemp was a significant contributor on that team at that time. And when I say significant is an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, because that was just bothering me. That I couldn't remember who was the other noticeable name on that team that made it to the finals. I also remember Eric Snow to some degree.
Yes, Eric Snow used to play for the Cavaliers.
Right. All right. So what are we thinking for the remainder of the first round?
Here's my predictions. I say the Sixers are going to get by the Nets. Warriors are going to get by the Clippers if they can play without Boogie out there, which they're more than capable of doing.
I mean, you only got you take Boogie off the court, and you're only left with 4 All-Stars.
Oh yeah, there's no big deal. You mean you take Boogie off the court? You know he's been a guy that's dealing with injuries.
I mean, I know
you got like 4 straight All-Stars out there. Just no big deal. Just good luck out there. But
I know you might be able to struggle a little bit not having 5 All-Stars on the court at once.
But I mean, 4 All-Stars is 4 All-Stars.
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's feasible.
But in my upset pick, I will say the Spurs will win the series against the Nuggets. That is my upset pick. I wouldn't even call it much of an upset due to the experience that Pop has in the postseason and the way he prepares his teams for the postseason. So I really wouldn't call it much of an upset, but due to the seeding, I would call it an upset.
Yeah, if I'm to see an upset, what I would really consider to be an upset, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the Pacers or the Nets.
Really?
I don't see the Bucks or Raptors losing, but I could totally see Boston or Philadelphia.
I mean, yeah, it's feasible as far as those 2 teams. I mean, it is more than possible that the Nets can knock off the Sixers or the Pacers can knock off the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't see either of those teams getting past the second round. But
that's not going to happen.
But I could totally see either one of those teams pulling the first round upset. Okay. So I totally lost my train of thought there.
Well, let's talk about it was a good day at LSU yesterday. Will Wade got reinstated.
Oh yeah. So
doesn't he still have his court hearing later this month?
Yeah, he still has a court hearing on the 22nd, I want to say.
But I think that him being reinstated by LSU and LSU saying that he is still within full negotiation of his contract, that he's still, upholding the how can I say this? The rules of his contract, that'll be a blanket for him to not get arrested.
Well, I don't think he was ever at risk of being arrested. I mean, he was he is being investigated for potentially violating recruiting laws, but I don't think he is in trouble of being arrested.
And what's so ironic is that the player that is revolving around is the hometown kid, Javonte Smart.
Mm-hmm.
In which he has declared for the draft, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about how the LSU players like Tremont Waters and Naz Reid and Javonte Smart, and all declaring for the NBA draft. And in my opinion, I at least want to see one more year out of them. At least one more year. I honestly do not think that they are ready for the NBA. To be honest, yes, they have a lot of talent, they have a lot of poise, they have a lot of promise, but. Yeah, LSU played good, but on an individual standpoint, I wouldn't vouch for these guys to get drafted into the league, to be honest. I mean, that's just I'm an LSU fan, but I have to speak from, I have to be a realist about it.
Well, with this whole investigation going on, I just kind of feel like we'll see some guys leave early, especially if they're in programs of question. Because, like we said before, the FBI is being very quiet with who they're investigating beyond what they've already announced, and we've already heard that there is a list of 100+ coaches coaches and assistant coaches that has yet to be released.
Well, I mean, and the players for these coaches that are going to the NBA, the last thing they want is for Adam Silver to pull a Roger Goodell. You remember when Jim Tressel had some violations on the NCAA football level, and Terrell Pryor was in that investigation. Well, Terrell Pryor left Ohio State. He was getting ready to come back for another year. He left Ohio State to avoid that trouble. And when he got to the NFL, because that's when the NFL had the supplemental draft at that time. Terrell Pryor was drafted as a quarterback by the Oakland Raiders in the supplemental draft. And as soon as he got drafted, the punishment that the NCAA tried pinning on him in college, Roger Goodell just carried it over as if, like, and it still bothers my mind to this day of why Roger Goodell want to carry that punishment over into the NFL. Like, Terrell Pryor's not in college anymore. This is a totally different domain. Why do you want him to? I mean, I understand that he needs to face his consequences, but at the same time, like, what he did in NCAA is none of your business, Mr. Goodell. So you might as well just let the guy live.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and that's the last thing these players want is for Adam Silver to hit a Roger Goodell on
them. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this is far from over, and the worst is yet to come.
Oh, it's coming. There's going to be a lot of sanctions and a lot of scholarships being lost, and a lot of these teams are going to take a huge hit in recruiting.
Which is why I think we have not seen. I would not be surprised to see a lot more players leaving before they're ready, because they were illegally recruited.
Well, at that time, if they're not ready to go to the draft, why not transfer?
Well, if their recruiting process was not the most legal per se,
and that might be a problem for the transferring coaches as well.
They would lose their eligibility without question.
So they go. So it's like domino effect. They go to draft before they're ready, and then they didn't finish. So they end up not finishing college. NBA doesn't work out, and it's just domino effect to where it's going to ruin their lives.
Yeah. Well, the only way I could see people avoiding stuff is if it was like a case with like, say, this pay for play with the rich parents. They've recently had some of those people accept plea bargains. There were situations where parents paid coaches to seat their kids on the team, whether they're talented or not, or in some cases the kids hadn't even played the sport before, but still, money under the table is money under the table.
Hey, money is the root of all evil. Money rules the world. It's all about the almighty dollar, everybody.
But there's some situations where a lot of situations where the kids being admitted didn't even realize what was going on, and that's the only way I could see these collegiate players for these colleges that were receiving benefits ever getting out of this unscathed themselves, as if they truly did not know what was going on, and the parents were the ones reaping the benefits of these executives. But I just don't see that. I don't see how these players could not
realize what's going on,
especially if there's just all of a sudden some nicer clothes or nicer cars just all of a sudden appearing at their doorstep.
I mean, and so they're young. They're gonna be like, oh, I mean, like, I got this, and that. They're not gonna think about, oh, where did this come from? How did I get this? How did I get all this? How did this happen? How did this happen? They're not gonna think about that. They're gonna be in the thrill of the moment because they're young. That's how their mind works. So.
But still,
they're not going to realize until the FBI comes knocking on their door and be like, look, you got this, you got that. Run me everything. And then that's going to be the end of that.
Well, yeah. Well, it's when these kids show up on campus driving the Ferrari. You just got to...
That's when, and then that's when you're going to have a student, a jealous soul going to make a call And they'll be like, well, such and such is driving this, such and such is happening, such and such this, such and such that. And that's how investigations get started. Because you're going to have one person who doesn't know how to shut the hell up.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said in previous times, this did
How
not...
you think a lot of people are in jail right now? Because some people don't want to shut the hell up.
This investigation did not start without a whistleblower. There was a whistleblower.
And the FBI, they always have informants, so...
Oh, yeah. And somebody said something that allowed them to start wiretapping, get warrants to wiretap, and the rest is going to end up being history. So...
This is just a huge mess. It's a mess.
But it's been needing to happen.
But I mean, at the same, it's a mess, and I don't want it to be happening to these players and to these coaches. But at the same time, I just want to grab me a bag of popcorn and just sit on back and just eat my popcorn and just watch the fireworks. Just watch all the mess. Just watch everything gets washed out on shore.
I mean, cheating is cheating, dude. I don't care what school it is. Even if it's LSU, it's still cheating's cheating.
LSU, I don't think Will Wade did it, but they got wiretaps on him. But LSU did reinstate him. If everything goes well in this court hearing, then there's probably some money being run under the table to the FBI. About, hey, can you just wipe this under the rug and we can forget about this ever happened? Here's a check. Leave us alone.
Oh, no. I don't see that happening yet. I think heads are going to roll here.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be some heads on chopping block in this scenario, but I mean, Will Wade did meet with LSU officials, and they were able to get things going. So now the LSU officials did their part by investigating it internally and suspending Will Wade to make it look like, hey, we don't tolerate that. There's university. LSU did their part. So whatever happens to Will Wade on a federal level, I don't think it's going to come back down to LSU.
We'll see. We will see. Like I said, heads are going to roll. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I feel like from here on would just be rambling.
Yeah, NBA playoffs mainly, and then not only that, we're going to be getting to a lot of players declaring for the draft, like Zion Williamson, which was no surprise. R.J. Barrett, no surprise.
Really? I thought they would stick around for another year.
Oh, man. I mean, at first I thought me too. But, man, look here. I knew they were going to the draft. Anyways, but...
So, what do you think about... now that I think about it, what do you think about the end coming to the one-and-done rule?
About you talking about the players can come out of high school now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what LeBron James did back in 2003. I mean, LeBron...
Well, he was disqualified for attending college. So that was just kind of...
well, I mean, Kobe Bryant did it. KG did it. I mean,
I know, but
honestly, I don't really have an opinion on it. If a player is good, I mean, game recognized game. If a player is good, yeah, let him go to the league and let him get his growing pains.
I know, but I also remember, back in the early 2000s before they implemented the rule, and there were some guys coming straight out of high school that just stunk to join up, and teams were wasting.
Millions,
high draft picks on these guys.
Well, not only that, a lot of these endorsement brands like Nike and Adidas, were wasting money. So I mean, honestly, as a player, I mean, if you want to if they're going to put it into the one and done role, I mean, I would highly advise that you go to college first and to continue honing your skills, because you don't want to go straight from high school to the pros. I mean, very few players do that. I mean, LeBron was able to do it. Kevin Garnett was able to do it. Kobe Bryant was able to do it.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I mean, but those are once in a lifetime talents. And so, I mean, honestly, do you know how many teams wanted Zion Williamson when he first came out of high school? I mean, a lot of people were drooling over Zion Williamson, but because of the one and done rule, he had to do his 1 year at Duke.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, you don't want to go straight, because, all right, with basketball going from high school and going to the pros, you want to do crawl, walk, run. So your crawling phase, that's high school, that's AAU. You want to get your foot wet in the college, because that's where competition kind of beefs up a little bit, and that's where you face a little bit more competition going up against the blue bloods like Michigan State and Duke and Kansas and North Carolina, etc. And you want to be able to face big competition before you go to the pros. So that's why I feel, I mean, they can put it into the one and done rule, but I feel it's going to mess up a lot of careers.
Yeah, well, I also remember back, like I was saying, back before they implemented it the first go round, you had these guys coming straight out of high school and teams spending like third, fourth, fifth overall draft picks on them, giving them millions, and then they come in and average 1.3 points a game. I remember there was a guy for Washington that came up and just was nothing, and I remember there was like this 7 foot something dude that the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted. He ended up averaging less than 2 points per game. I just don't want to see that again, but I know it's going to happen again.
It's going to happen because players are going to, like, just because you see this guy averaging 30, 40 points on a high school level, I mean, yeah, that's nice and all, but they're barely going up against competition because they're just way ahead of the competition. But you put him in the league today and you put him up against a guy like LeBron James, or you have him go up against a guy like, or have him try to score against a guy like Patrick Beverly, then that's where you're going to see them get exposed. And my thing is, I don't want these young men getting exposed when they get to the league. Let them go to college, because in college, that's where you want to do your mess ups. That's where you want to get exposed. So that way you can hone your game and hone your skills. Mm-hmm. So the one and done rule is going to end soon, but I mean, hopefully the players don't be following suit on that, and they do go to college for at least a year or two. If I had my way, I would do 2 and done, not 1 and done. That way, whenever you go to the league, that you leave no doubt, you leave no room for doubt that you are ready. Yeah.
Well, on a kind of completely and totally irrelevant note, but somewhat relevant anyway, instead of 1 and done, we can call it 2 and through.
I like that.
All right. Yay. Okay, now we are kind of officially wrapped up. So a little fake off there, about 5 minutes ago. But, anyway, this has been Basketball Street Beat. I'm John Barron.
I'm Joshua Perkins.
And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter's. Also, AISportsNetwork.com. This has been an AI Sports Network production, signing out.
Bye.